On Thursday Night Football, the Minnesota Vikings beat the Washington Redskins 19-9. The Vikings are now 6-2. The Redskins are 1-7. There's a couple things I want to talk about. Number one is the Vikings running back Dalvin Cook. It's phenomenal. He had 23 carries, 98 yards, and a touchdown. I'm so glad the spotlight was on him. I keep meaning to talk about him. I know, if you're not aware, I've been critical of him in the past because he's often injured. And nothing against him. I just said, look, the guy's often hurt. How good really is Dalvin Cook? Well, this year he's been proving himself. He's really, really good. He's having a phenomenal year. He's got 823 yards passing, 823 yards rushing. Excuse me, I said passing, I meant rushing. He's a running back. He leads the NFL in rushing. I know that's a little bit skewed because right now he's a game ahead of everybody because we played on Thursday. Everyone else plays on Sunday and Monday. But he's still over 100 yards ahead of the next guy. He has 9 touchdowns rushing. He's doing phenomenal. He's really having a great year. And the point is not whether he's the leading rusher or not in the NFL. The point is Dalvin Cook is awesome. He's doing such a good job. And what stands out to me is the way he runs, his physicality. He's not afraid of contact. He puts his shoulder down. He runs, he just really takes contact head on. And his effort is really, really impressive to me. I love watching Dalvin Cook and the way he runs. He's not the kind of guy to run out of bounds. He's the kind of guy to lower his shoulder and take you on. And it's just awesome, man. It really reminds me of the early years of Adrian Peterson, where I know it's awkward that they both play in Minnesota, or that they both played in Minnesota at the time. I remember when Adrian Peterson was younger, people would say, this kid won't go down. He would just lower his shoulder and take guys on and just fight and churn. His legs would run. He'd just turn and go for more and more yards. And that's what Dalvin Cook kind of reminds me of. The guy fights really hard. I really respect it. And he's made himself, it's clear, he's like, hey, right now, I'm one of the best running backs in the NFL. You better respect me. Hey, I do. Dalvin Cook, I was critical. I look silly today, not you. You look phenomenal. How about Kirk Cousins? The Vikings quarterback last night was phenomenal. He was 23 for 26 passing. That's a fantastic completion percentage. I don't want to do the math on that. It's just fun. It's good. He had 3 incompletions all night. That's awesome. He had 285 yards passing, 285. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Kirk is doing his job really well right now. However, I'm still cautious. I'm still skeptical of Kirk. The Vikings have won 4 games in a row. They beat, let's be honest, they beat the Giants, the Lions, the Eagles, and the Redskins. The Giants and the Redskins are doormats. I think the Eagles are not far behind them. The Lions, okay, they're a team in transition they're one of the middle of the pack. So right now, my point is, I'm not that impressed with the Vikings. My number one concern and my big issue with Kirk Cousins has not been that he's a bad quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. He's very fine. My problem with Kirk is that he shrinks in big moments. I'm waiting for a big moment this year, like we had a couple weeks ago when, remember when everyone was criticizing Kirk Cousins at the beginning of the year, when he struggled and he lost games? He lost to the Bears' backup quarterback. That Kirk Cousins still exists. He's still around. He just had 4 weeks playing against average to bad teams. Everyone's really high on Kirk Cousins. I'm just skeptical. However, I will acknowledge, hey, he's playing great right now. He has 13 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. That's great as a passer. He does have 4 fumbles as well. That's not really that great. But in 8 games, 7 turnovers, and a 6-2 record, hey, good for Kirk. He also, by the way, currently leads the NFL in passer rating. I don't pay much attention to statistics. I actually had no idea what passer rating meant. I had to look it up. I'm not into stats. Apparently, passer rating is a formula that combines pass attempts, completions, yards, touchdowns, and interceptions. They kind of add them all together and do some kind of math I don't understand, and then they come up with a number, and this number declares whether you're good or not. Right now, based on the numbers, Kirk Cousins is leading the NFL. Hey, I don't know anything about the stats. I'm not a big stats guy. However, even I can acknowledge that's impressive. If Kirk Cousins has that number is better than everybody else in the NFL, and those are the things they take into consideration, hey, that must be pretty good. Kirk is playing very well right now. I just want to see him in a big moment. There's a couple of tough games coming up later in the year for the Vikings to play at Dallas. They play in Seattle against the Seahawks. They play the Packers. They play the Bears the last 2 weeks of the NFL season. How will he play in those moments? That's what I want to find out. But right now, the Vikings are in great shape. And I think, it's pretty clear to me, hey, Kirk is doing well. The running game's phenomenal. The Vikings defense looks really good. The Vikings they're 6-2. They're a playoff team. I look pretty silly. I think I had the Vikings going 7-9. I can't remember what I said about them. I know it was not great. I was dead wrong. The Vikings look far better than I expected. And hey, good on them. They're awesome. You know who's not doing well? The Washington Redskins. They're in trouble. Last night they lost their quarterback, Case Keenum. He got a concussion. He's going to miss some time. And the guy that replaced him was Dwayne Haskins, the first-round draft pick from earlier this year. And he was 3 for 5 at 33 yards passing, had an interception. And I just feel bad for him. I do. I don't want to be too hard on him. He was put in before he was ready, and now the jar is opened. You can't reseal it. Dwayne Haskins is playing in the NFL, and I think it'd be worse actually if you just said we're going to bench Dwayne Haskins for the rest of the year. I think that would hurt his development even more. So, look, I personally think the Redskins are going to play Dwayne Haskins the rest of the season. It makes sense to me. That's probably what I would do. That's not the way I would have done things from the beginning. But now, if I was stuck into this point and said, hey, if you're the Redskins, what do you do from this point on? It's probably just play Haskins. I would have personally kept him on the bench for a lot longer. I don't think he was ever really ready to play at all. And the team around him is terrible. But hey, they're going to put him in. And I just ask that Redskins fans, please be very gracious and kind to this guy. Allow him to learn, allow him to grow, allow him to make mistakes. Go easy on him. I just have patience, be kind to Dwayne Haskins. He's going to go through a lot of rough points where he's going to throw bad interceptions, have bad games, and look really stupid for a while. And Redskins fans, if they have any hope of him becoming a franchise quarterback, they need to be patient. They need to let the guy develop on his own terms. I think it's unfortunate the situation he's found himself in, but hey, he's just got to play through it, and Dwayne Haskins has to do the best he can. And if you're a Redskins fan, hey, this year is going to suck. I'm sorry it already is terrible. You're 1-7. But support your quarterback, allow him to grow, and give him a little bit of patience. So, that's, I see the Vikings as a playoff team. I feel bad for the Redskins. I want to now shift gears to... My name is Zach Schaumler. This is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. And I want to be very clear and open with the audience. My YouTube channel is monetized. What that means is that some of my videos make ad revenue. It's fewer than you think. A lot of them get claimed. But in the past, I've received donations from people on Patreon and PayPal. PayPal.me/Zach Schaumler. Patreon.com/Zach Schaumler. And because I'm making ad revenue, it felt kind of weird just receiving donations. I wanted to give something back for the donations. And so people who support me on Patreon can give me $1 a month, and that allows them access to a pool where they can ask questions. If you send me questions through Patreon's DM service, you comment on one of my posts on Patreon. If you give $1 a month, you can submit questions. And with my eyeballs, I look at every single question submitted. Then at the end of my podcast, I pick the best top couple questions and read them on the show and answer them in a segment I call Ask Zach. Now, that's for people who have money and want to support me that way. If you have no money to give, no problem. I totally understand. I grew up in a mobile home. I've been a broke college kid. I totally get it. But if you want to help in some capacity at the end, you can support the show by telling your friends about it. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow by telling your friends about this show. It would mean a lot to me. If you believe in my dream and you believe in this show, tell your friends about Strong Opinion Sports. Guys, my name is Zach Schaumler. Thank you so very much, and hope you have a great day.